Rum, rum, rum. Um, All right, we got intro starting off, going against CB. CB grabs a 2, unable to give it back though. CB dies. Denji versus Fol, going for Folsey, it looks like. Folsey gives Denji a 1. Denji gets taken out here. Folsey going for intro now. Killer gonna chain it, gives it to intro. Intro gets taken out. Killer going for DT. Never mind, gives it to Folsey. Gives it to DT across the wall. DT gives it back to Folsey. Folsey gets taken out. DT gets taken out. Nick gets taken out. Trying to chain it. 2v2. Aiden going for Bob. Bob gets reached. Kibo sacrifices. That was very silly. Bob giving a 2 to Aiden. Aiden gives it back. Beast get the first point of the set. DT giving it. Bob is taken out. Denji gets taken out there. CB versus DT. CB gives it to DT. DT gets taken out. Kibo giving it to Folsey. Folsey giving it to Killer. Killer gets taken out. Folsey gives it an intro across the wall. Really far. Folsey running on Kibo. Bob gonna try and trade it. Bob gets taken out. It is not 2-0. I mean, it is not 1-1. Look. That is 2-0 right here. Not 1-1. Bob, what are you doing? Gives it to Denji. Denji gives it to Kibo. Kibo gets taken out. Intro takes out Killer. Aiden going for DT. Aiden holding. Aiden dies. CB gets taken out by DT. Folsey versus Intro. Intro grabs the 2. Intro gives it back. Folsey gets taken out. Nick versus Bob. Bob gets reached from really far. They're going to try and chain it. Never mind. They back off. Bob gets taken out. Nick in a 1v3. Going for DT. DT grabs a 4. Nick grabs a 2. Unable to give it back though. Nick is taken out. 3-1. Bob gets taken out. DT gets taken out. Denji versus Killer. Killer running on Denji. Denji gets stuck on the wall. Denji gets taken out. Nick in a 1v5. Brings it down to a 1v4. Oh, wait. I had the score opposite. I just realized I had the score opposite. My bad. Nick takes out Denji. Killer gets taken out. Kibo gives it to Nick. Nick unable to give it back. 3v2. CB going against Bob. CB needs to grab here. Never mind. Why are you grabbing a 1? You should run instead. Aiden in a 1v3 now. Aiden needs to grab here. He does. Takes out intro. Bob versus Aiden. Aiden getting stuck for a second. Bob trying to grab. Bob unable to grab. Gives it to Bob. Bob gives it to Kibo. Kibo sacrifices. Bob versus Aiden now. Brings it down to a 1v1. Aiden needs to grab the 2 here. He grabs a 3 instead. Can he give it back to Bob? He does. Last second. What the fuck? 5-1. Fozy gets taken out by Denji. Aiden gets taken out. Denji grabs the 2 from Nick. Nick gets taken out by Denji. DT going for killer. Denji sacrifices for Kibo. Killer versus Nick. Nick gets taken out. Killer versus Kibo now. Killer's running. Kibo unable to give it. Kibo gets taken out. 6-1. Aiden takes out DP. CB going for Nick. Nick takes out CB. Or Intro takes out CB. Nick gets taken. Intro gets taken out. Not Nick. 2v4. Denji versus Aiden. Fozy gonna chain it. Aiden gets taken out from it. Killer gets taken out. Kibo gets taken out. Denji in a 1v2. Denji takes out Fozy, brings it down to a 1v1. Nick versus Denji. Um, CB gets taken out. Killer takes out DT. Sharks win the first round. Kibo versus Killer. Killer gets taken out. Folsey tries to sacrifice but doesn't. Aiden versus Kibo. Aiden giving it to Folsey. Folsey switching up to Nick. Nick giving it to DT. DT giving it to Nick. Nick gets taken out. DT unable to give it to Folsey. DT gets taken out. 3v2, 4v2. Folsey giving it to Kibo. Kibo giving it back to Folsey. Folsey gets taken out. Aiden in a 1v4 situation here. Aiden getting taken out by Kibo. Intro giving it to Nick. Nick giving it to Nick. Nick taking out Nick. Nick takes out Nick. CB holding on DT. DT unable to give it back to CB. CB gets taken out, or DT gets taken out by CB. Aiden versus Entro. Aiden overholds way too much, gets stuck on the wall, gives it across the wall. Entro unable to give it back. Entro tries to switch up to Folsey, but is unable to. Folsey versus Bob. Folsey grabs on Bob. Bob gets reached by Folsey. Folsey takes out Bob. Kibo in a 1v3. No, never mind. Denji is still alive. Folsey gets reached really far. Kibo grabbing the 2. Kibo giving it back. Folsey gets taken out. Denji versus Aiden now. CB hovering a little. Aiden grabs the 2. Aiden takes out Denji. Kibo versus CB now. Kibo in a 1v2 against Aiden and CB. CB holding way too far. Unable to give it to Kibo. Kibo versus Aiden in a 1v1. Aiden unable to give it to Kibo. Kibo wins the round. Nick takes out DT. Thank you for the follow, Maddie. Any more members? No, I do not. Killer going against Bob. This dude. Screen share? Can you screen share or no? Okay. Thank you. Bro. Fozy gets taken out. I'm watching off the patience monitor hill. Bro. Denji takes out his own teammate DT. Denji gives it to Fozy. Fozy gets taken out. CB versus Denji now. CB gets taken out by Denji. Entro gets taken out by Nick. Denji versus Nick. Nick gives it to Denji. Nick needs to grab here, but it decides to run instead. He's get reached. Bob versus Aiden. Aiden in a 1v2. Aiden giving it to Bob. Brings it down to a 1v1. Aiden gets taken out by Denji. Why are they all trolling? Nick gets taken out by DT. CB changes. DT gives it back to Killer. Killer gets taken out. DT unable to give it back. CB gets taken out by Denji. Aiden in a 1v3. Denji gets taken out by Aiden again. DT giving it to Aiden. Aiden gets taken out. Folsey taking out CB. Nick takes out Bob. 3v3. DT grabbing a 2. DT unable to give it back to Folsey. Intro versus Folsey. Folsey grabbing it. Unable to give it back though. Killer chaining it. Kibo gets taken out. Nick unable to give it to Intro. Killer and Nick in or Intro in a 1v1. Killer needs to grab here. Unable to grab, but runs instead. 6-2. Kibo grabs, gives it to Folsey. Folsey gets taken out. Bob said, "Let me end it." CB gets taken out. Killer versus Bob. Killer unable to grab the 2. Runs instead. Bob gets taken out. Nick versus DT. DT grabbing a 2. Killer messing it up. Killer gets taken out. DT versus Nick. Nick gets taken out. Aiden in a 1v4. DT has timing. Takes out Aiden. Folsey's in the wrong server. Folsey's stupid. Nick joined first. Bro. DT takes out CB. DT going for Fozy. Fozy gets reached. They're gonna try and chain it. Oh my god, what the hell? Nick gets taken out by Bob. Aiden takes out Bob. Brings it down to a 1v2. Said I'm not gonna do that. First point go to Sharks. Bob gets taken out by Aiden. Nick versus Denji. Thank you for the follow, Ellie. Hey, what's up? What's up? Thank you for the follow, Evan. Evan the Goat 15412. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Fozy going for Barra. Barra gets reached. Can Barra reach it back? He doesn't. Fozy takes out Barra. Denji versus Aiden. Aiden's gonna run. Nick's gonna try and chain, but fails. GFGs. Oh, nice. Nice. Entro. Grabbing the 2 on Aiden. Aiden takes out Entro. 4v2. Orlando versus Kibo. Orlando lost. Lost puppy. Kobe, who do you think's gonna win? Nick dies. I hope you have a good day. I'm having a pretty good day today. I think like today or overall? What do you mean win? Nick takes out Bob. Nick versus Kibo. Overall? I think Oaks, honestly. I think Oaks win it all. Aiden takes out Kibo. Wait. It's 2-1. shit, I'm talking about Sharks versus Beast. Bruh. Beast. What other games do you play? On Twitch? I don't really stream that much, honestly. I only stream these, usually. Because my main computer's broken right now. So I can't play mini games and stream. I have to use my laptop right now. Orlando gets taken out. 4v3. CB versus Bob. CB grabs the 2, gives it back to Bob. Bob gets taken out by CB. Kibo versus Aiden now. CB interfering. CB needs to grab here. He does. Can he give it back, though? He does. Kibo gets taken out by CB. CB gets taken out. 2v2. That's not CB? What do you mean that's not CB? That is CB. He left. Bro, Greg is in Poland. Benji gets taken out. By the way, you play shooting games? Yeah, I do. I play Valorant every now and then. Also play Valorant? Nice. What's your level? Level in Valorant? Like 120. My level is 182. Oaks almost lost to Beast with 3 players. Nah, I still think Oaks are going to win. What are you waiting for? They called a timeout. I think your rank is diamond. No, I'm plat 1 right now. I'm trying to get to diamond. Money gas? Money gas. Bro. Dude. Alright, no. Evan, you're getting banned. Bro. Hurry! I gotta go. Fozy gets taken out. Part-time streamer or full-time streamer? I barely stream, honestly. Like, I barely stream. When I get my computer back, I might start streaming again. Orlando takes out the AFKs. I work with Toka, but you do not work with me. Kibo gets taken out. 1v3. Do you stream other games? Yeah, I do, but just not right now because my computer's broken. Like, my main computer. Once I get that fixed, like, I'm gonna start streaming again, probably. Bob takes out intro. I mean, Bob takes out Nick, not intro. Intro takes out Fozy. Okay, can I join the game? No. Bob gets taken out by Orlando. Aiden versus intro. Aiden gets stuck on the wall for a second. Aiden dies. Orlando in a 1v4. Orlando gets taken out. Denji grabs the 2, unable to give it back. Just taken out. Okay, drop your Discord. Fozy gets taken out. Ankles. Nick gets taken out. Bob versus Orlando. Orlando gets taken out. Aiden versus Bob. Aiden giving it to Bob. Bob gets taken out. Aiden brings it down to a 1v3. Going against DT right now. Aiden needs to grab the 5, or grabs the 6 right here instead. Gonna run instead of grabbing. DT gives it back. That was a silly move. Bob versus Aiden. I sent a forgive request. I'll accept it in a little. After this game. DT takes out. DT gets taken out by Nick. Bob overholds. Two v 3. Nick is taken out by Denji. Fozy in a 1v3. Gives it to Intro. Intro gets taken out. Where's Killer? Yeah, Killer left for some reason. I don't know. 1v1. He was here for the first and second. I think, was he here for the second set? I don't know. 4-4. Bob gets taken out by Orlando. Fozy takes out Orlando. Fozy holding on Intro. Gives it to Intro. Intro gets taken out. Fozy getting stuck. Fozy dies on the wall. Nick versus DT. DT overholding. 2v2. Nick gets lost on the wall. Denji versus Aiden. Aiden in a 1v2. Aiden holding. Giving it 2 to Denji. Denji gives it back. Five to 4. What score? Aiden taking out Intro. 4v2. DT gets taken out by Fozy. Brings it down to a 2v3. What new gen do I think will pop off in a few months? I have no idea about any new gens. I don't keep up with the game anymore. Denji gets taken out by Aiden. 2v1. One v one. Orlando takes out DT. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Rando gets taken out by Bob. Naz, I remember when I beat you 15-7, or was it 15-6? I don't remember. But I remember I beat you when you first started. But I'm washed now, so. Bob is taken out. Aiden in a 1v3. This is for the game. Denji gets taken out 1v2. No, I'm not buying a team anymore. I'm quitting. After this league season, I'm probably going to quit. 1v1. Sharks win. 7-4. Why am I quitting? Because this game